My career profile today is on an adoption case manager. I found a lot of different job opportunities on the internet, and I chose to look into one for a company called Directions for Living in Florida. And it's directionsforliving.org. The work environment with this type is a medium-sized company, but it's a very big industry, so there's plenty of work available for anybody who would be interested in any kind of social work. The work environment varies depending on the different type of people you're involved with. If you're working with just infants, if you're working with maybe LDS Family Services, if you're working with the foster care system, with the county, it depends. You're going to spend time out in the field. You're going to spend time at schools, in foster homes, in adoptive families. You're going to spend time in the home with maybe someone who is pregnant and wants to give up their child for adoption. You're going to help people out, help them figure out the best place for the children, and when the children are placed, you're going to be there and make sure that it's still the best place for the children. You'll visit them at school. You'll make sure that their behavior at school is appropriate, to know that their home life is still appropriate. The stressors for this kind of job, I think, would be to know if the children are in the best environment possible. I think it would be very stressful to have to decide and then maybe find out if you were wrong, that you had placed them in the wrong place, or a foster home maybe wasn't a good fit for them. That would be really stressful. But on your day-to-day basis, it'll be your time management. It's going to be your organization, because you will be out in the field, so you'll have to make sure you manage everything appropriately, that you give enough time for cases that might need extra time, because you don't want to be late to one and then the first one you went to requires more time. You're going to have your benefits in this type of job will vary depending on the size of the company you work for. You can have federal job and have full, complete benefits, retirement, and everything. You can work for a very small adoption agency, and you can maybe only work part-time. I mean, it just will depend on what's available to you in your area and how many hours that you want to put into it. You will, however, have a regular Monday through Friday schedule unless you have any type of emergency come up. If there's a medical emergency or someone has changed their mind, 10 o'clock at night, it may be a situation where you might need to be involved. For the most part, you're looking at your typical banker's hours, though, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Your tasks are going to be assessing. You're going to assess the situation. You're going to give your opinion. Your gut instinct is going to matter, but you got to really pay attention to your schooling so you can read different types of people. You're going to be monitoring the client's progress. You're going to be linking resources that people need. You're going to be advocating on the behalf of your client, and clients will usually be the children. The clients could be adoptive parents. The clients could be parents giving children up. You're going to be in different situations depending on where you work. You might be in a situation where courts have taken children away and even terminated parental rights. You may be dealing with very upset and angry parents and children who've been taken away and don't understand what's going on. You could be dealing with infants who have been given to a loving home. I mean, you could have the good and the bad, and it's just going to depend on where you work to really what you're going to see and how it's going to affect you and how much of it you'll see. You're going to have to make sure that all the coordinating is done properly and that it's done according to all the rules, because there's just no greater challenge, I think, than choosing to know the right thing to do in the lives of these children, because how they're raised is going to make a huge impact on how they are as adults. And you need at least a bachelor's degree in social sciences or related human services field. Master's degree, of course, is always even better. The money will be better, the responsibilities will be better, but also your ability to progress in your career will be better, because to be not just a case manager, but maybe manage, people who are out there doing their case management, you'll need to have your master's degree for that. You're going to start anywhere from $26,000 a year. It's going to be a smaller agency. Your average case manager will make about $58,000. Well, top end will make $58,000. Your average is $44,000, and that's just for the case manager. When you look into managerial work, or maybe you are, supervisor over case managers, you're going to look at a little bit more money. I saw one federal USAjobs.com. It was actually a social worker, and they were offering between 80,000 and 100,000 in Washington D.C. It was amazing to me that federal government does that, and it talked about working with kids. But that's the only job I saw that had such a big employer and such a huge scope, and that's a lot of money. But I'm sure that they want training and experience, not something you can walk into or even get into after 5 years. But if you're committed, it's definitely something you could do down the road. There's volunteer positions in this type of industry as well, so it's not always the highest paying, because you do have a lot of committed people who are able to do a lot of volunteer work, and it's mostly the confidential stuff that you have your paid employees for. I think your personality is going to determine a lot whether or not this is the type of job you can do. You're going to see the best and the worst of humanity. You're going to see people willing to take sets of children that have been taken away from very bad environments, but on the other side, you're going to see those kids in some very bad environments, and if they end up in a foster home that is a not good environment, you're going to see that too. And if you're the one that placed them in that foster home, it's going to be really hard. So you have to be able to keep perspective, and you have to be able to be strong, be caring, but not too emotionally involved, because I think you could just rip your hair out wondering if you're placing the child, especially if it's an older child and it needs to be in a foster home, because maybe the courts have terminated their parental rights of their parents. That would be very stressful. So most of the information I got came from the occupational handbook. I looked at Indeed.com and Monsters.com for a lot of the different job opportunities available. I spent a lot of time on the directionsforliving.org, the website for the particular job that's actually hiring right now in the beautiful state of Florida. So I happen to live in Idaho, and being that it's winter here, I found the Florida one pretty intriguing for me this time of year. So that's what I learned about it, and it sounds great. Thanks.